Hello gardening friend. Today we're going to be winter sowing onions, and we're going to be talking about winter sowing, a little bit about what it is, give you the process, and I'll show you the tools that you're going to need to winter sow onions. It's really a nice easy little process and I think you're going to enjoy it. Alright, so let's get going. I'm going to be showing you how I winter sow, and specifically how I winter sow onions. So bring the camera in closer and I'll show you what we're gonna do. Whoa, not that close, way too close. We're gonna do onions today, but the principles of winter sowing are basically the same for anything you're gonna plant. The only thing different about the onions is we're gonna plant them close to the surface and just put a really thin layer because these seeds are so tiny. Alright, so some things that you're gonna need for winter sowing. First of all, of course, you're gonna need the containers. Hopefully you can get some recycled so you can get them for free, reuse, and save the planet and all that, you know. So also we're gonna need a water bottle to water our seeds down. You wanna have a good pen. This is actually an ink pen. I think I got this at the craft store. I think I got it at Michael's. The way I've found to cut the bottles the best is just to use a nice scissors. Let's see, this scissors also has an herb stripper that you can put your stems in there and pull them and it strips the herb. Called Good Grips. Maybe I'll put a link to my Amazon affiliate in the description on some of these products for you. To put some drainage holes in the bottom, because you're going to need drainage holes because it will get water in there, and when you water it you don't want it to get soggy. So we're going to put some drainage holes in the bottom. You can use a knife for that, you could use the scissors for that, but I prefer to use a soldering iron, which I have here. It's heating up. And let's see, also we're going to need some tape. You want to get a good tape too. This is actually Gorilla, so it's a good tape. And I got black. I figured black will absorb the heat from the sun, maybe help things sprout a little sooner. Now if you haven't heard of winter sowing, the principle behind it is that we're going to put some soil in here. We're gonna cut this open first so we can get the soil in there and plant the seeds. And the idea is that the seeds know when the weather is right, when the weather is perfect for them to sprout. And this is like a little mini greenhouse. We're gonna plant the seeds and then tape everything back shut. Don't use the top, throw that away because the moisture has to get out if there's too much moisture that way too. And water also has to come in too. So, but it is a little miniature greenhouse. All right, see if I left anything out. Well, the soil, but I'm going to show you that too. One thing that people don't like about using a soldering iron is that it is a little stinky. So try to make sure that you're downwind from it. You could even put a fan up or however you want to do it. But put 4 holes in the bottom. Just press it in like that. Almost looks like I'm smoking, huh? I like to put 1 hole in each of the 4 sides here. See, that's nice and easy. Then you're done. If you use a drill, you can use a drill to make some holes, but I found that the drill leaves a lot of shavings, which I don't necessarily like. And then also, I'm going to put 2 holes about 1 inch up, which are sort of emergency draining holes. So just go ahead and put 2 holes on opposite sides, about 1 inch up. Then you can put your soldering iron somewhere else so you don't have to smell it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut around here about 4 inches up. I like to start about at the bottom of where the handle is and go around. Now, I just saw this recently that Cheryl Mann, who is the godmother of winter sowing, I would say. She's got some Facebook groups. I'll put the links in the description below for those Facebook groups. She recommends cutting starting at the handle, and you'll make a cut around, but you'll leave a little hinge. So leave like a 1 inch space on the far side, and that helps this flip over and stay open while you are planting your seeds. Okay, so just try to cut as straight as you can around. Halfway around, See, there's a little bevel right there. I'll just stop on that side of the bevel, and when I go the other way, I'll stop on that side. Alright, so now we can flop that over and get busy planting. Okay, you want to use the best potting mix that you can buy. So I've got some Miracle-Gro, which in the past I haven't been real thrilled about Miracle-Gro because consider it to be just straight chemicals. But this is an OMRI listed product that Miracle-Gro has. So we're going to try it out. But I actually mixed that with the Happy Frog, which is a very popular mix that winter sowers like to use. So the important thing is that it is a potting soil and it is good for raised beds, and well, this says indoor and outdoor plants, so you know it's good for containers or raised beds. Right, and you want it to be nice and wet because it's hard to get it hydrated if you put dry mix into your containers. Alright, and this is nice and wet because it's been sitting out in the rain. So that's beautiful. Oh, I guess one other thing that I forgot to mention is you do want a trowel to be able to put some of your soil in. So what you do is you fill this up. When I'm doing these onions, I'm going to leave the soil level down just a tiny bit so that I can put the seeds in and then put a thin layer of soil on the top. Usually I'll just dig holes in for seeds that are bigger. I'll just dig nice holes in the potting mix and put the seeds in and then go ahead and plant them up. And I want to pack it down fairly heavily because I don't want the seeds to wash away or wash into the bottom of the container either. Okay, so there you can see I'm down just about probably close to ½ an inch down. Alright, let's go ahead back to the table and we'll plant our seeds in here. So we're going to take our seed pack, open it up. These seeds are called red burgundy onion seeds. The reason I picked these is because they are a short day variety. My latitude is like 35 degrees. You want to know your latitude when you pick your onion seeds because it's called short day, long day, and intermediate. And depending on where you live is depending on the seeds that you need to get. If you've been growing onions and you didn't realize that, there may be a reason if you're not having success. Basically, the bulb starts to produce a bulb when it gets the correct amount of sunlight. And I think of it as Alaska has really, really long days. So they're a long day. And if you go south, the days are shorter in the summertime. So that's how I remember it. So it's a long day north and a short day in the south. I think the dividing line is about 33 degrees of latitude. So you can look that up and see what onions you need for your area. And if you get the wrong ones, they just won't grow very well. And the problem is these seed packs don't even say if they're intermediate or long day or short day. Intermediate is between short day and long day. So that's another option that you can take. They won't do real well at the extreme short day, or the extreme long day. But intermediate is an option for most of the United States. Alright, so we're going to put this whole pack in here. So there's going to be a lot of tiny little onions coming up all over the place. Hopefully. But have you ever seen where they have at the feed stores, they'll have the onions that have a rubber band around them, and you can see their green tops that have started growing, and then you can see the bottom bulbs are just not even bulbs yet. But that's what we're going to do in here. So we're going to let them grow in here and let the onions grow up, and there'll be a whole bunch of them in here, and then we can take them out. Onions are really tough, so we'll take them out and plant them in a row or in a raised garden, in a square foot bed, however you want to grow them. So you're going to have a lot of onions, hopefully, when these all sprout. and they'll just crowd against each other, and when you transplant them, then they'll really start taking off. They gave me quite a few onions in here. I'm pretty impressed with the amount of seeds I got in this pack. Alright, let's take this over and we'll go ahead and cover it with some soil. Okay, so now we're going to come back and we're going to sprinkle just a little tiny bit of soil. Then we're going to take our water, we're going to give it a lot of water, make sure it's nice and wet, so the seeds will have a good bit of water to be able to sprout. So now we got the seeds in there, we got them covered with some soil, and we got it watered with our spray bottle. So now what we have to do is close this up and close the jug up with our duct tape. Now I just saw Cheryl do this the other day, so I'll steal from her idea on how to do the tape. Just get the tape started, and you need about that much to go the whole way around. Then you can sort of just let it attach to your leg here, and then bring it up, start in the middle here, and go right on around. What you really want to do is you want to seal up right where the container joins together. It doesn't have to be perfect, and if it crinkles a little bit like that, you just push it in there. Right, but you really want to keep the air from being able to get in there as much as possible. And if you want to, you can put another layer around there if you think you got too close to the seam. It doesn't really matter. Then you put it outside. I like to put it in a spot where it's going to get as much sun in the day as possible. Then you wait. You can put this out in the snow, January, whatever, but you'll just have a longer wait that way. And you can tell if they need a little more water by the condensation on the side of the jug. If everything is going well, everything is good, you'll see condensation in the daytime, especially if it's a sunny day, you'll see condensation. And if you don't see condensation, you can give them water. You can spray some water in through the top, but I like to use, remember we put those drain holes in the bottom, those can also be watering holes. So I like to put a little pan with maybe a ½ inch of water in and set these in the pan for a few minutes, and you'll be able to see that the water disappears because it soaks it up if it needs it, and then take it back out so that excess water can drain out. That's the way I like to water them, because that way you're not disturbing the seeds as well. So that's planting onions, and like I said, most other seeds are going to be exactly the same. Set it out and we wait for them to grow. You can also look down in here and say, hey, are you growing yet? Come on, when are you going to start growing? But the seed knows when it's going to start. Oh, one thing I forgot. Why I have this paint pen. And the reason I use a paint pen is because even a Sharpie, it's going to fade if it's out in the weather. So I like to put the date that I planted these. What is today? It's February. I should have planted these earlier actually, because onions will sprout up when it's pretty cold. So it's February 27th, and I planted onions. It's important to do this because if you just look in there and look at the dirt, you don't know what you planted. Okay, and I'm gonna say red burgundy onions. See? Isn't that nice? All right, we're done.